this event is being broadcast live via Ustream, so you'll be able to pick it up on our Facebook page or send it to friends if you like. And we also edit it. We'll be editing it within the next couple of weeks, and it'll also be on our Facebook page. We are being hosted today by the Jewish Arab Center of the Haifa University. We're grateful for this. And the event, the talk that we're going to be holding today is about Palestine from international aid to a sustainable economy. And I'm going to open with some words and then introduce our two speakers. They'll both make presentations, and then we'll open the floor for questions, for a discussion. So let's begin. So international aid has and continues to play a major role in the conflict. Palestine and the West Bank and Gaza receive one of the highest levels of aid in the world. Surprisingly, perhaps, Israel receives double per capita international aid what Palestine gets, but obviously the chunk of aid as part of the Palestinian economy is much more significant in Palestine than it is in Israel. There are a lot of criticism around the world on the issue of international aid, and I'm going to mention a couple of them. First of all, there's the obvious argument of losing political freedom. Money usually comes with demands, and I can tell you as the head of an NGO, when we develop projects, we come to donors, and this is quite similar to what countries do. They come to donors, and the donor says, well, we like this project, but change it here and do that, and you can't say this and design it this way. So there are strings attached, usually to money and to international aid. There are definitely strings attached. More importantly, perhaps, there's lack of or loss of economic freedom. It's usually said that the amount of foreign aid has to be spent on the purchase of goods and machinery and capital equipment from the lending country. So you're getting money, the country is getting money, but then it's asked to spend that money back within the donor country. Israel does that regularly with its military aid budget. And on our way here, we were discussing a project that actually IPCRI has been trying to promote with promoting energy efficiency appliances. Well, basically the idea would be to come to a donor company that manufactures such energy efficiency appliances, and that company would give the money to buy appliances, so basically the money going back into the economy, into the original economy, also conveying some form of benefit to the donee country, to the beneficiary, but obviously there's an economic price as well. A country which is able to secure foreign aid without too much difficulty on easy terms becomes complacent. Basically, it promotes laziness, so to speak. If you become reliant on international aid, on donations, your incentive to work very hard, to be innovative, to be creative, to engage in activities that generate growth, that develop industries, etc., is lessened. And that often, so basically the example of the difference between giving someone a fish or teaching him how to fish is very relevant in this case. And if we provide a crutch to someone for too long, then that someone, and in this case it could also be a country, loses its capability to walk independently, and that's always a fear that we have. A country that seeks to quicken the growth process may make strenuous efforts in the direction of export promotion, import substitutions, but foreign aid is easily available, and on easy terms, these efforts also become weak. Economic growth will not confer any permanent advantage if a country cannot become independent of foreign imports through import substitution and earn sufficient foreign exchange through the export promotion. And finally, the fifth point, most foreign aid is used in building up heavy or large-scale industry. And the decentralized sector, or the small-scale sector, is neglected. Here again, I can talk from IPCRI's personal experience. We just concluded a pilot project that involved a farming cooperative in the northern West Bank. Palestinian farmers are known to be very good farmers. They have a significant competitive edge compared with the Israeli market, because whereas an Israeli farmer is paying a daily wage to a worker of 200 shekels a day, the Palestinian is paying 70 shekels a day. So the idea was to convey, to do a knowledge transfer of Israeli knowledge in agriculture to Palestinian cooperatives. Why is this not done on a wider scale? Because international aid, and there are several donors that I'm not going to mention here, are giving money to the very large farmers that are already operating in Palestine, and the smaller farmers that are feeding many, many families. We worked in the village of Kaldala with a cooperative of 25 farmers. Each one of these farmers is a head of a family, basically feeding many, many mouths. But it's much more complicated to work with many small cooperatives than to work with one big farmer who has millions of dollars of farming land and equipment, etc., etc. But you can pay Mr. X, or you can develop money to Mr. X, and Mr. X develops the whole thing. Whereas when you work with a cooperative, you're working with 20 people who make sometimes decision-making processes less quick than what one very affluent or one very strong or powerful businessman or farmer could do. And this is really, I'm talking from experience on the ground. So it's clearly, I think, in the interest of Palestine and in Israel, for Palestine to develop an independent economy. A growth-based economy, a modern economy based on agriculture as well. As we said, they have wherever there's a competitive advantage, that's where countries should operate. We know that Palestinians are very entrepreneurial in nature. So high tech is another field where the economy should be geared in. And we also know that Palestine today is a big recipient of aid. So how do we do this transition from an aid-based economy to a independent and a sustainable-based economy is the question that is the big question that we have on the table today. Some smaller question is, what has to be done for this to happen? Can it be done without a political resolution of the conflict? What are the challenges, obstacles, and promises for such a transition? And what will happen to Palestine and to Israel if this transition is not put into motion? So those are some of the issues that we're going to be discussing today. And I'd like to start off by introducing our panel. I'm very proud to introduce Professor Hisham Awartani, professor at An-Najah University, an economist, someone who has been partnering and participating in IPCRI activities for many years. We had a minor incident today when I came to pick him up from the checkpoint on the way to Tulkarem, but we happily resolved that without any incidents. And on my left, Orhan Niksic, senior economist for the World Bank in the West Bank and Gaza, but he is in fact a country economist for a territory that is not yet a country. Mr. Niksic provides the intellectual and technical leadership on macroeconomics, fiscal and growth issues faced by countries in transition processes towards larger self-sustainability. So very relevant for our discussion here today. He is responsible, among other things, with promoting dialogue and close working relationships with the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and the donor community, as well as civil society. So thank you very much for being with us. And Professor Awartani, I will give you the floor. You agreed? Okay, sure.